Three, two, one, go.
Oh, look at all those left click mashing skills by speedrunner called TAS.
Task guy is speedrunning every game and he's good at everything.
He's
I don't know
so
how he
good.
does it.
Or she, we don't know.
Yeah.
I think this one's it
Yeah.
actually.
By the way, even with that speed of maneuvering, it's not worth to restart at the end of any world. So that's funny.
Oh, right. The movement here. The frame perfect movement.
So when there are objects like this, we can dash to them immediately. They're on screen, and that will increase Prince's speed significantly. So that's good.
Yeah, so basically when we destroy those boulders with our sword, we don't have to walk right up to the boulder. We can click on it when we're far away, and the prince will massively boost his speed to approach the boulder and then destroy it. And so normally in a real-time speed run, like that first level, it doesn't really have anything technical, but to get it as fast as he did here, with everything frame perfect, it's incredibly difficult. Because like for example, you land the jump and then you have to start holding immediately a direction to start running, and sometimes it can be very difficult to start holding a direction immediately, but obviously the test does it frame perfectly.
Yeah, so there you can see like a quick turnaround. You will see it a lot throughout this task, like there. And we will get used to seeing that thing throughout the run, and when we actually do runs, it will feel so slow.
So remind me again, what is the quick turnaround? Or I guess maybe you can explain it when we see it again.
So when we are walking towards the edge, we have one frame to turn back, and that will make him fall in place instead of like the hanging animation. So that saves some time,
I
a
see.
few frames every time. And I think throughout the whole thing, it even adds up to like, I would guess about a minute or so. So it's
Wow.
a big time save.
But to be fair, it's because this game is so long, so a tiny time save
Yeah,
that saves a few frames adds up if you can do it consistently.
yeah, it's done like hundreds of times, like there, for example. So every time it saves a few frames, and that adds up to a minute by then.
Right. So interesting, I'm seeing you jump between the walls, and I'm seeing that you're not wall running as you jump. Did you find that to be fast?
Yeah, yeah, like it seems like jumping between the walls is fastest, and at the end, we need to like climb the part where we need to go instead of like wall jumping. At the very end, you will see me all run most of the time.
I see. But so maybe it depends
Like
on the...
it just depends on the layout. Like if the jumps correctly make it such that he is hanging, and then we don't need to hold run. But if there is a little bit of distance left, then hanging like from there we can just wall run, and that's faster than doing an extra wall jump.
I see.
Yeah, so like this.
Are there any walls where it's faster to wall run the whole way? Or are all walls such that it's faster to jump?
Yeah, most of the time it's just fastest to jump between them. provided they are narrow enough. That is basically like for this one, for example, we have to wall run,
Right,
otherwise
because
we
they're
won't
so
gain
far
height.
apart from. Right.
Yeah.
So normally in a real-time speedrun, see these rows that he's doing, you kind of have to time them as you're running. Because in order to row, you have to stop running, and obviously in the TAS, he times that perfectly, so he doesn't stop running at all, or he starts rolling
Yeah.
immediately after stopping.
So for running, you have to keep holding the stylus, and for rolling, we have to like double click. So it's kind of interfering with each other.
Right.
So we lose little bit of momentum and time every time we roll, but in some occasions it's better to do.
So from the TAS perspective, would rolling look something like you hold the stylus and then you release for 1 frame, hold it for 1 frame, release for 1 frame, and hold it for 1 frame again? Is that like?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, by the way, first ceiling clip. So see how he just kind of clipped through the ceiling there. That one saves like, I don't know, half a second or something. I'm not really sure how long that one saves. There will be others that will save a lot more. Basically, the way the ceiling clip works in this game is when you jump towards a wall and then you wall run up from it, the game is designed such that that wall running up animation cannot be interrupted. Like once it's started, it's gonna finish. It's gonna finish if you buffer a jump away from the wall as well. So I made a mistake there. You can interrupt it, like if there's a ceiling above you, but if you buffer a jump from that wall run, then once that jump is buffered, it's impossible to interrupt the wall run up. And not even walls can stop us from wall running.
So when we get damaged, we get invincibility frames for some time, and during that, we don't even get staggered at all by anything. So that's cool. So you saw that I just ran past the boulder there without having destroyed.
Right. Ooh, that timing. I mean, this is TAS, so it shouldn't surprise me, but still.
Yeah, like while doing it, I get annoyed whenever I have to wait a cycle, but while watching back, those kind of things are really cool to see.
Right. So
as I say here, since I have only 1 HP, I cannot jump from top, so I do a different thing like this.
Right. I was about to ask, do you have to do any health management throughout this run? And I guess
most of the time, I didn't have to think much about health management, but in some places, I did have to worry a little bit, and I had to, like, basically there are these spot kind of things, and if we run at full speed after breaking them, we will miss the health that they give. But if I wait for like 4 frames or something, then I'll get the health, and in some places I deliberately do that.
Right.
Yeah, so if we go to the corner where you can fall faster like that, it's funny.
Interesting.
I think it can be done in RTA as well, but it's a little bit finicky to like.
Ceiling clip, by the way. Oh, and that jump backwards as well.
Yeah. very funny thing in this saw blade section, I remember you mentioned in world record that you wonder whether you can do this, and yeah, it's possible.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I'm glad someone does.
Yeah. I had to like check every source that just to be sure I'm not missing any strat or something.
Right.
So
And you're good
yeah,
at doing that. You always know everything.
yeah.
So GMP.
Yeah, so during these cutscenes, like when doors open or something, there are this black bar kind of thing the game does to give a cinematic feel, I guess. And during that time, we cannot press any input, but if there is some action going on before the cutscene, it will just finish. So we try to make sure that we are not standing idle before starting such things.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
another
nice.
ceiling clip.
Ceiling clip. And technically we missed that. See that red diamond or ruby or whatever. Technically we didn't collect that, but the game just doesn't keep track of that. So first
Yeah,
boss
like
fight.
the whole point of that level was to collect that, but
Yeah, well,
we just
skipped
skipped it.
it.
Yeah.
So boss fight. This is a very interesting one.
The only interesting one.
Yeah. So basically, as we knock him down, we fight him, and there's supposed to be 4 phases, but so we'll see it again. We just skipped one phase. Basically, each phase is supposed to be 1 skull of health long, and then he goes back up. But if we do half a skull of damage, and then as soon as we do half a skull, we do a power attack to do a full skull of damage, we skip him going into the next phase, and we can continue to hit him. Unfortunately, we can't keep doing that forever, so there are still 2 necessary phases, but nonetheless, we effectively cut the fight in half
Yeah.
by basically combining normal attacks and power attacks in a certain way.
So the reason why we can't do all 4 in one go is because when he loses 2, there is like a hard check to basically like switch the gems. So that is kind of a hardcore thing.
Right.
So that's why we can skip only one.
Ooh, that movement there
Yeah.
with the hitting the boulder. So what
Yeah.
happened there? The boulder was falling, and he was trying to hit the boulder as it was falling, which boosted his speed. Obviously, then the boulder got destroyed by the spikes, but it didn't matter because he didn't actually want to destroy the boulder. He just wanted the speed boost. So that was really cool.
Yeah. So if we block, then a lot of animations get cancelled, and it saves time in most places. And it interrupts the dash, so that's what I did there basically.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would have just fallen into the pit.
And I guess it's kind of handy that in a TAS you can block immediately. You don't need to physically move your stylus in order to block. It's very easy.
Yeah.
It's another ceiling clip. This one gets us very high. We don't actually need to go that high, but well, it does. So I think those spikes, like casually playing, you're supposed to walk through so that they don't trigger.
Like if we walk slowly, then we can hear them, but we can just roll to cancel the staggers, and we can just continue.
Yeah, we still take damage, though if there's more than one in a row, then we do get invincibility frames, and so we only get damage from the first one. However, oh, nice ceiling clip. However, we can avoid the stagger altogether by just rolling.
Yeah.
So about the ceiling clips as well, some of them Like in a real-time run, they're very difficult, or some of them anyway. And that's because you have to wall run up, and then very, very quickly you have to buffer a jump. So that basically you have to buffer a jump before the game realizes that we're gonna hit a ceiling. And obviously in a task that's easy because you can just buffer a jump immediately. Actually, question for you for the ceiling clips. In terms of inputs, was every ceiling clip the same for the tasks? Was it just wall run up?
No, like, yeah, like basically that is the same thing. But some shilling clips were like more difficult to perform in a task as well.
Oh, really? How so?
So if we all run and then buffer a jump for the other things, I can like kind of wait and then just do the input and it will be still be fine. But for some I had to do it in specific frames, and for some I had to like slide down a little bit. Like for example, the one in one for like the second one in this video. For example, I had to slide down a little bit, like basically delay while running up, so I get enough space to do it. Basically,
Right, so that's...
I mean, you wouldn't have noticed it because it's just for a few frames, but
Right. But that's
when you have to be
interesting, though,
careful.
that even for a task, there are difficulties in doing ceiling clips. Oh, look at that. That was amazing. So what happened there?
This
The
is
enemy spawned and kind of pushed us out of the way, and he pushed us through the barrier. I think you said that some of those are free and some of them are like very difficult.
yeah, like this one is almost frame perfect.
I see. That movement. Also, we were kind of talking
Like
about
with
something
these
else.
moving,
Oh, go on, mate.
and these platforms can give you air steps like that in very weird ways. Like they have like collision all around them, so it's very funky.
Yeah. Usually in a real-time run, you don't really want to be making use of that collision, but of course
Yeah,
in the tasks you can.
yeah.
And
So
look at
I
those
think
perfect shots
this is
again.
the point where the run starts becoming like, instead of being a really good RT run, it starts looking like a task, in my
Okay.
opinion, because if you saw there, like I basically Prince was fighting the enemy and Zal was doing the art thing, and both happened at the same time. So
Right. And that's usually like
in
very difficult to do because in order to fight the enemy, you have to click on him with the stylus. And in order to shoot the
yeah,
diamond, you have to click on that, which are like very far apart. So you can't exactly do that one frame apart.
yeah, we can. In the main advantage of a task is like we can click opposite ends of a screen in like in successive frames, and that
Right.
in some places the developers just don't account that it's even possible, and we will see some funny effects happen
Okay.
because of that.
See that? Like, he jumped, and then while he was in the air, he shot the diamond. That would be so difficult to pull off in a
Yeah,
real-time run. I think that one would still be possible, but some of the things you do would just genuinely be impossible for a human.
yeah.
Oh, that boulder skip.
I don't know what happened there, to be completely honest, but it seems like we got a boost from both the boulder
Oh,
and the enemy, so
interesting.
I think that's what happened, so it's funny. Uh, Actually, the thing like where we skip fight, we call that barrier skip, and
All right.
I didn't discover it in the previous level, so I had to redo the previous level and this level to include it. So funnily, like the dash that happened, it didn't happen when I did the level for the first time. So
That's what happens. You try things again and you find new strats.
yeah.
Also, we were talking about something else while it was happening, but when you were fighting the most annoying enemy in the game, I was just laughing so much
Yeah.
because, like, even in a TAS, he's so annoying.
Yeah.
Uh,
The only thing that I could optimize is like basically I can know in advance when I can get up. So that's the only advantage I get in task. But otherwise, it's the same thing.
how did they not? I don't understand how they let that enemy slip through. Like, did no one test this and go, like this enemy is extremely annoying.
Yeah.
Or another barrier skip.
Yeah. This is where I found that it's possible in any fight.
Right. So we already knew it was
This
possible
is
in like one fight, but
yeah. And I used to think that it's because there was a pot or something at the end of it, and
right.
I was wrong about that.
I guess the pot
And
kind
this
of
is where
helped
I
us align like the
yeah.
setup. So in terms of getting those health pots, from what I know, where the health appears after you break the pot is down to RNG. And so how do you deal with RNG in a
No.
TAS? No?
So basically, if you wait after breaking it, it will appear in front of you.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you start running soon, it will appear behind you. So that's why when I want to
Ah,
get it, I have to wait 4 frames and then start running, and I will barely get it.
I see. So was there any RNG in this run at all that you had to deal with?
I think in World 6 there is RNG because for these enemies I'm just doing the same consistent thing and it just works. They just kind of melt. But for the World 6 enemies, if I try to do the same thing, sometimes they just attack me and sometimes they just keep taking damage. So I think that was RNG. For a for the major part of this run, there is no RNG.
I see. So how do you deal with RNG in a TAS? Like, obviously, if you're grinding like a segmented run or something, you'll just keep grinding until you get good RNG. How do you force good RNG in a TAS? Or what do you do about it?
So basically, there are some techniques to manipulate RNG. The primary one that most, I know most is like just waiting a few frames and then attacking at the correct time. So that works out for some games. But in terms of this game, I just didn't worry at all, and I just took whatever RNG was I got
I see. So
because
in
it's such a small part of the run towards the end. So
right,
I didn't like, and it does. And in terms of RNG, it's not like it loses 5 seconds or something. It just loses a few. It basically loses the amount of time it takes to block once.
hmm,
So whenever there are cutscenes like this, it's worth like rolling right when it starts, so that he will continue doing it as the black bars disappear.
ah,
Doesn't work for buttons, but during these dialogue sections, it works.
hmm. Oh, that's a tough ceiling clip. I can see that already.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
This
like a
is
double
another
one.
kind of difficult ceiling clip because you first have to get to the corner and then from there you have to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, same here again. I just saw that. So
Yeah,
he gets to the so he wall runs up to the corner and he gets like an air step For whatever reason, in some places, when you will run up and hit a ceiling, the game lets you jump from that point again. And then so he jumps from that point again, from the air essentially, and then does another wall run and jump off, which is insanely difficult in real time. And same there.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And in a real run, of course, if you failed that, you would die. So you wouldn't really
Yeah,
go
so
for
in
that
this
RTA.
in this cutscene, you might think the role doesn't really matter because the level just ends here. But since the camera is kind of panned to the right, I guess the game calculates the distance between Prince and the creatures or something. So it actually ends a little bit early. It's
Oh,
funny.
that's very interesting.
By the way, in some places, if I in some places the dialogue in the map can just be skipped if I enter the level too quickly.
I see.
Like sometimes in the map there are conversations between Zal and the prince.
Oh, what's happening here? Oh. Oh, I see what you did. So you skipped having to lift that boulder up, essentially,
Yeah,
by standing
yeah,
under it. So normally Zal,
yeah,
who we were fighting at in that moment. Oh, look at that skip. Normally Zal, who we were fighting in that moment, goes to the opposite side of the boulder that you're standing on. And then, since he was standing under it, he didn't go to. He just stayed where he was.
yeah. So in this game, in a lot of circumstances, when the game detects that we are trying to go in the opposite direction, it kind of accounts for that, and it just keeps the enemy in the direction opposite of us. So
those those diamonds.
uh, didn't you see it the first time? It happened the
Um,
first time as well.
I don't know. Well, anyway, most annoying enemy
I
in the
guess we
game.
were discussing some.
Yeah.
We were discussing something else.
Well, it's good. I got to see it again on barrier skip again.
Yeah. Every time we get a new power, it's like it's really good because in a task that will be even more crazy.
Right, because then you can do even more things in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
So right now we're just replaying the same level that we were already at with those crazy ceiling clips, and this would be even more crazy RTA because all those difficult ceiling clips, any of which would kill you if you failed them, you're doing the second time now in a row. Also
Yeah.
that jump, like, good luck pulling that off in RTA.
Yeah. We might consider these healing clips if they saved more time, but they just save like 5 seconds or something. So.
Yeah, and it's almost certain death.
Yeah.
So you may notice the game's a bit laggy at times. What?
This is
What?
a new ceiling clip here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for trying to explain something boring relative to what I just saw.
Yeah, this is one of the cooler contraptions for sure.
That was like two
but this
ceiling
is not the
clips
best
combined.
one either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course it isn't.
Yeah,
TAS is
yeah,
too
so
good.
this looks very similar to the part before, but here actually the height is not enough to do a ceiling clip.
I see.
But you can get an idea of how little the ceiling clip would save, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that movement. I was gonna say, you may notice the game kind of lags and slows down sometimes. And that's just because the game is laggy on the Nintendo DS hardware, and then the emulator emulates that lag.
Also, yeah, sometimes in the map you can like kind of run into a barrier, and and it actually saves time because again those black bars, when they disappear, if we are in the middle of an action, it just saves time.
I see. And so I guess the way you get that running animation is just by clicking on where you want to go, like very quickly after the map opens.
Yeah,
Right.
you can actually click it before we can even see it
Ah, so I guess
properly.
that's even possible in RTA perhaps. You just spam.
Yeah, maybe if we can memorize the coordinates or something, maybe it's possible.
Right. I mean, I don't
And we
think I'm
can
ever
just
gonna
spam
do
clicking.
that for this game, but
Yeah,
if in theory someone grinded it so much that they wanted to optimize every small detail like that, then they could.
yeah.
That movement. That's just crazy. Because if you know how the collision for those things works, you know that shouldn't be possible. Normally
Yeah,
you can't hang from them, so normally you have to land like very high, very much on top of the thing, but he just lands next to it and somehow it works.
I remember these purple things. When we have to go through the door, we have to let go of Zal basically, and he won't be with us. And if we try to retrieve Zal back, then the door will immediately close. So just remember that. And
I saw
I
that
don't know
ceiling
whether
clip
this
coming.
is. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's known. Yeah. So here
Right.
we can just retrieve Zal barely, and it saves a lot of time because we don't have to go back to collect him. It's actually like double frame perfect roll. Like both the rolls should be at exact time.
Oh god.
Uh, I forgot to mention, I guess. So whenever we want to use Zal's powers, we have to press basically any button, and when we do that, the prince momentum, if he's running, immediately stops. But if he's doing some action like rolling or jumping, then it will just finish that action. So you will see that I will intentionally roll on a flat ground to perform some action by Zal,
I see.
because because that way I won't lose momentum.
Hmm. And like again in RTA, this is incredibly difficult to do
Yeah.
because obviously you don't really have enough time to like move your stylus to a completely different place. Also, nice barrier skip. You move your stylus to a completely different place, press a button, and then do whatever you need to do with Zhao's powers, all while the prince is rolling or hitting an enemy or something. So normally in RTA, every time you want to use Zhao, you lose time. And now we rob Zal, I mean, what? This again. No, this is an actual good run, so we don't need sex jokes as distractions. Yeah. Like, look at that. Look at that. That's insane. Just jump from the air.
Yeah.
And that would be so scary to do in RTA because, like, if you fall, you die.
It's actually somewhat easy to get an airstep from those things, but
okay.
We have sort of little time to jump away, so it would be unnecessary. Like they didn't even save time because we had to wait for the cycle anyway. But I just did because it's funny.
Oh, so can you not? So I just realized with those enemies you are fighting, can you not do barrier skip there?
No, I tried. It didn't work.
I guess the enemy just spawns too far from the barrier then.
Yeah.
I see.
Like, I have a decent idea of how the frames look when barrier skip happens. And if it happens and we are still stuck in the fight, then we can know for sure that it doesn't work. Here I do a power attack to kill him because that particular enemy was kind of bugged for some reason. So power attack kills him a little more efficiently.
Okay, I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
normally in RTA this level is quite difficult because you have to go through a lot of these traps without taking any checkpoints, and any one of them can kill you. Also nice shot mid-air.
yeah.
That's possible RTA as well, but quite difficult. Something like that is a lot more difficult though. While he was jumping, he shot that. That's...
This is the first enemy that I had to dodge basically because he started attacking in the cutscene.
I see.
Very rude. Yeah, I actually take help because I need it in this level and I had to wait for the thing anyway. So. And this is the funniest barrier skip of the run. I guess this happens because either because we are it's like near the edge, so the game doesn't have an idea where to put us, or because maybe it's like barely possible and we just did it. It's one of those two things, I think.
Right. Oh, that was crazy. So he just rolled, and while he was rolling, he started using Zhao's power already, and like that's so hard to do in RTA.
Yeah.
That was risky going past that saw blade, but this is a TAS. TAS always knows what it's doing. I guess you don't need health anymore.
Yeah. These giant saw-blade things are like one-hit kill, so I have to avoid them anyway.
Right.
Even if I had full HP. and there is nothing left in the level
Mhm.
where we can save time by taking damage, I guess. Yeah.
That map navigation, so quick.
Yeah. Like we basically start moving even before the fade out finishes, and we just enter.
Sorry, I just saw you hit your head on the thing, and I was like, um, that's that's not something desirable in RTA. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Also, jumping early from that rising platform also like may not look impressive, but if you run this game yourself, you'd realize it's impressive. Also, yeah, he just got a diamond. So this next diamond, it's the only one in the game that behaves like this. Um, for whatever reason, after we shoot it, we can die and go back to the last checkpoint, and apparently you can shoot it after you're already dead.
Yeah.
And it stays. So all the other ones in the game, if you die after shooting it, you'll have to do it again. But with this particular one, for whatever reason, when you die, the flag just doesn't reset.
Yeah.
That was so good. So I can see you're rolling, and while
Yeah.
you're doing the rolls, preserve momentum. You're shooting the eye. So that's the type of
Yeah.
thing where I think if you've not run this game, you won't really find impressive. But if you know what's going on, like you'll know that that's basically impossible in RTA because he has to.
Also, those corruption plants, we usually just take damage in RTA, but here we have a lot of time, so we just kill them
I
and
see.
getting staggered is saves time, especially when we are near an edge, so we can't roll to skip it.
Right. But yeah, like normally in RTA, you'd have to like double tap to the right, then extremely quickly spam above you, and then as soon as the roll finishes,
Yeah.
keep double tapping to the right. You'd have to like move your stylus back and forth very, very, very quickly. Do that. It's basically impossible. So second boss fight. Looks like you landed too early. Normally you're supposed to
Yeah.
land on his sword or whatever that is.
Yeah, we have to land on top of his sword or something.
Yeah.
These boss fights are just boring and the faces are completely scripted and we can't do anything, sadly.
So I remember at one point we had a placebo that if you get hit, the fight goes faster or something. I assume you've proven that to be
No,
false.
yeah, doesn't.
I see.
He just.
I, I'm still gonna do the placebo though.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even use frame advance for some part of this level. Obviously, like when I pull him up and stuff like that, I did use, but for some of the level, I just played it like an RTA speedrun because there is nothing to be done. So
Right.
especially when we are dodging his things and stuff.
Right. So that was world 2 of 6 done.
Yeah.
Oh, and we get a new power here, which is we call TK, I think.
Yeah, TK.
And the other one, what did we call the other one where we pulled the blocks? Was it snatch or something?
Elastic corruption.
I don't.
Elastic.
Yeah, I guess that.
I mean, the game calls it elastic corruption, but
I see.
so I just rolled with it. Like when I was writing the description in TAS videos, I just called it elastic corruption.
The game also has the levels in a different name format than we do, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. Our name format is better.
Yeah. To be fair, the official quote unquote name format is not meant to be accessible
Right.
for someone who is not that curious, I guess. We just found it while by digging the ROM files.
Yeah, that's fair. And at the time we named the levels, we didn't even know that official names existed.
Yeah.
And so the way I named the levels was just basically the level whichever levels we visit in order, like in a casual playthrough. I just named them level 1, 2, 3, and so on. But it's
And when there are branches, we prefer that top level being the first one, I guess.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so that was kind of the algorithm that I came up with. The reason I kind of started doing that was just because when I started running this game, obviously I had splits, and I just wanted to make sure that my splits were the same every time, so that I wasn't doing a different level on the same split. And so to remember, I just said I'm always gonna do the top left level before I do any other level, and then we just kind of rolled with that naming system.
Right.
Oh, that actually saves time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because we don't have to climb the ledge, and that saves a lot of time.
See.
And since I did that, again the enemy here is bugged and I had to charge him, but it's still faster overall. It's funny.
Ceiling clip here. This one's a bit difficult in RTA, but obviously not in TAS.
Yeah. Yeah, so here we hit 2 gems at the same time, and that saves I think little bit of time, because when the black bars come down, it just happens once.
Right. So that saves like a second or something.
Yeah.
That was a very fast level 3 too. We just started that and it's gone already. So soon we're gonna unlock the power to control those fireballs. Also, what the hell is that full damage cancel?
I mean, it's just a simple roll.
Oh,
But yeah, it's a
I see.
little bit.
See, normally
It's basically like the roll cancels the fall damage stagger and the attack cancels the roll.
Right. So normally, I knew that you can cancel um, the stagger with the roll, but normally I'm never able to roll there because when I click to the right, I'm clicking on the rock and he starts hitting the rock.
Yeah,
So I guess you have to like click to
I
the right
guess
of the rock.
that's. I think I actually clicked the corner of the screen basically.
Right. And then as soon as he starts rolling, you click the rock.
Yeah.
I see.
However, this uh, TK section is kind of bug. I don't know why. And if I do it too fast, he just falls through the map. It's funny.
Surprise, surprise, this is TFK. Also, this ceiling clip is quite difficult RTA, but it's still easier than the casual way.
Yeah, basically. I think that particular one is little bit easier if you do it from the hanging posture, basically.
Okay. Oh, he's shooting something already. I assume that was one
Yeah,
of
like
those
those.
purple corruption thingies, which we didn't
Yeah,
even
the
get to see.
corruption plants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I don't know if this.
Excuse me?
I
What?
don't know if this saves time. Yeah, I don't know if this saves time, but I had to include it. I didn't have any choice.
Right. Like, I've seen that before where he kind of slides, but not for like 2 kilometers.
Yeah. I think you have to be. I don't know if it works universally, but I think the positioning there is just perfect. You can actually do it RTA pretty easily
Oh,
if you just roll there and just let go of inputs and it just happens.
it doesn't matter if it saves time. At some point, you just have to go for style points rather than speed.
Yeah.
Also, oh my god, that stepping off the.
Yeah.
Because you get an air
So
step.
when
Normally, you have to wait a bit in RTA because the game takes some time to realize that the platform has exploded. So then, normally, what happens is you try to go off it, and then you'd think the prince will go in a hanging position, but because the game still thinks that the platform is there, he doesn't. He just continues walking, and then the platform finally disappears, and he just falls to his death. But I guess there he turned around very quickly so that he still hung down after it disappeared. So just like some very optimal movement in these TK section. I guess there's only so much you can optimize in some of them. Well, I mean, you can do that.
yeah.
But for the TKs themselves, I guess. Unless you can,
Since
like,
the
go on, mate.
Yeah, since the concepts of this game are really cool, in a task, you don't even feel the controls are bad, which you feel in RTA by the way. Since you don't feel it much in task, so whenever there are mechanics involving these powers and stuff, it's actually really fun to do.
Right. So that's interesting. It looks like instead of dropping down and taking damage, you went the long way. I guess that's to avoid the stagger?
Uh, like if I fall down, then I have to roll to cancel the fall damage. So that will put me even further away from where I have to go. So
Right.
overall, here it just saves time.
I see.
So
Also, oh my god, fighting those enemies. Oh, are you doing barrier skip? What the hell is going on?
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so those enemies with the shields, normally you have to use Zhao's power to take the shield away. Uh, what? I'm sorry, I was just wondering why you weren't shooting the diamond. So normally you have
because
to.
because I was like pulling the blocks down there, so that's why I
I
was.
see, I see. Um, right, so normally for the shield guys, you have to use Zhao's power to like drag the shield away, and then you stop using Zhao's power and you start hitting him. And generally that takes time, but he just does it immediately. And same as that, like what we just saw there, it looks so simple, but it looks like he's just rolling, not doing anything. But RTA, it's basically impossible. In fact, it is impossible to pull it off that quickly.
Yeah.
For this level, we will visit twice, because Val is about to get kidnapped again. Oh, nice. Nice. Optimized for. I guess there's nothing we can do here, we just have to fight the enemies.
Yeah, like their spawn point is so far from the barrier, so barrier skip is just not possible.
Right. Hey, Snake. So, last time Zhao got kidnapped, you said you, like, rolled away to make it a bit faster. I guess
Here,
that's not possible here.
yeah, because we fall from above, we don't have time for it. Sadly, the cutscene starts mid-air actually.
Right. So, at the end of this level, we'll unlock the ability to control those fireballs as Zal is doing now.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see the fight with Zhao. I guess there's.
it's not too fancy.
I see.
And just do some style points.
So I was just wondering, because I was under the impression that it's faster to. Also, that fireball, oh my god, the speed of that.
But
Like, if you blinked, you missed
you,
it.
you
Also,
you will
see.
see the fireballs travel at most for a few frames, and it will clip through collision.
I see.
Yeah, so this is one of the points where the developers didn't really think that we will be able to like uh, move the stylus across the screen in one frame. So they don't really check if there is some collision in the line of movement.
Right.
So
Also,
it's
that enemy
really
just disappeared.
yeah. We can kill the enemies with the exploding ball. So and since we can control that so fast, we will just see them
Yeah, that's
get
crazy.
spawn killed.
to this level. And again, we have to fight this enemy, I guess.
By the way, this is the first instance we are fighting this enemy because we skipped them in the previous level. And the only way to damage them is by parrying.
Right. And what we mean by parrying is there's no like parry button, you just block and follow that up with a hit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, like it keeps it simple.
Yeah, so whenever there are these TK things, we can just fall and at the end we can catch one of them. And
Yeah. If you know
in
what
a
you're
lot of
doing,
places
you can do that in RTA as well. But obviously, TAS is probably going to be a bit more optimized.
Yeah, we can actually this I think we call them latches that we TK to. We can actually click on them before they are even in the frame.
Oh, I see. So I guess
By
you
the
can...
way, we just
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even realize that stuff was happening.
yeah yeah
Because it's just so fast. It's like one frame. Jesus,
yeah
that's like 5 to 10 seconds, and you're doing it in a single frame.
in RTF it's very annoying as well because these things tend to explode even if they're like a little bit close to collision as well. So, by the way, we can skip this saw blade that's coming behind us
Of course we can.
because we are so fast.
Not in RTA though.
We have half HP left.
Oh,
That's
good.
enough.
Because the corruption plants do half a HP
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with what just happened, but we'll roll with it.
Yeah. I think like until we got the elastic corruption, the first power up, it looked like a good RTA run. And then when we got that power, it started looking like a task. And now, when we got this power, it's starting to look a bit incomprehensible.
Yeah. It's like when you watch
But this is by.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, so this is basically my favorite power.
Right.
The powers we get after this are kind of not that great. For TAS at least.
Kind of reminds
That's
me
why this is also.
when I watched the Portal TAS, where I've never run Portal, I've never even seen speedruns of Portal, so I had no idea what's going on. It kind of reminds me of this, where you just watch things happen in a single frame. It's like if you blink, you miss it. I was looking, and I'm a runner of this game, and I still missed it until you pointed it out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, moving those shields while wall running is... It's possible, RTA, very difficult. The single frame fireballs are insane. Oh my lord, that was close.
Yeah.
Oh, you can skip that.
Yeah. So basically any enemy that has shield is basically a normal enemy as far as the task is concerned. Because you have a lot of time to pull his shield away.
Right. Also, I
I
noticed
think
a
this
new
is.
ceiling clip just a second ago. Shoutouts to that.
I think this contraption that just happened is my personal favorite.
Oh.
Because we destroyed like 2 concrete blocks and also pulled one plastic corruption thing
Right.
without losing momentum. So
Yeah, see, one of the problems with this task is there's so much stuff happening at once that it's very easy to
yeah,
miss
yeah.
something if you've not seen it before. I can only imagine how someone who's not even run the game would feel, because I'm a runner of this game and I'm struggling to keep up. If you've not even run it, then I have no idea what's going on.
Well, like I think we will enjoy this section getting destroyed.
Oh my lord. Oh no. He's just running. No, no. You're not allowed to do. Oh my god. That's insane.
Yeah,
That's illegal. I'm sorry. You broke the speed of light.
yeah.
Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein says no to that.
These swing poles have like insane auto targets, so we can jump from like so much slower, and he will catch that.
Right. The one thing we haven't talked
Long
about is
fall
long fall
grab
grabs.
there.
Yeah, exactly. It turns out if you fall and grab a ledge, you can fall from as high as you want. You don't take fall damage upon grabbing a ledge. So that particular one was known even
Yeah,
RTA.
those
Oh, that
these
perfect move.
control. These things are so heavy, and it's uh, really hard to control them even in a task. I kind of.
I see.
Uh, it took me a while to find out how to control them optimally.
Hmm.
You can basically move it a few pixels per frame.
Right. And I guess you kind of had to figure out what's the fastest you can move it and then move it at that speed
Yeah.
at all times.
And there are stuff like you can move it only a little bit slowly when you are lifting it, and when when it's kind of you are taking it down, the gravity helps you a little bit. So there are things like that as well.
I see. What?
Since you can clip the thing between the 2 blocks and it will destroy both of them. You'll see it again here,
um.
like that.
Okay.
Game wants us to wait there, but we just say no and continue.
Right. I guess we're about to see a fireball. Yep. Well, I didn't see the fireball.
Yeah.
I just knew that it's coming.
You can also sailing clip there, but why struggle when you're God?
And the easiest ceiling clip in the game.
Yeah.
What? I guess you can move
Since
those very
they
quickly as well.
Yeah, the game doesn't have time to register the collision. Also, this fall again. And
Right.
here,
Oh my.
Ubisoft is really good at coding collision, so we can do
What is even happening anymore? Like, you're just. This is not the game. This is like this. It just looks like you've modded the game using
I mean,
hacks.
this
That's what
is
it
how
looks
the
like.
game looks when it's actually good, basically.
This is crazy.
If we somehow just remove the lag, it will be perfect.
Right. Oh, those rolls. Oh, and then the door opens just in time. That's so satisfying.
Yeah. I think World 3 is by far my favorite
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
TAS.
especially that last level, that was so cool. Like, I don't even know anymore. I'm starting to doubt whether I'm a runner of this game because I have no idea what's going on anymore. Oh, ceiling clip coming up. Of course, though, a bunch of other things are happening in the background. Oh my god, this is crazy. This is so crazy.
You can just shoot through this thing. I actually do this in RTA runs as well. Like, you
Oh,
can just shoot through that.
I see.
It's pretty free actually.
It's crazy though the number of things you can do, like wow, you're midair or something in a TAS.
Yep. We can basically make a single player game look like a two-player game.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Except, still, one of the players is OP.
And do this again. And for some reason the door is not loaded. I guess because I'm rolling and I already past the load or something. The
Oh, okay.
door just doesn't show there.
I've literally never seen that before. That's interesting. Oh my god, that air step and drop down. That's so scary.
I remember the trick where we like use a TK and shoot the ball to skip a collision and to hit him through a closed door. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
You will just not see the door at all
You just shot.
because Ubisoft is really good at coding collision.
Right, right. You've mentioned that. It really does look like a two-player game, though. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, time for the most annoying thing in the game.
Ah, right. At least it doesn't seem too hard to pull off in a task. Just
Yeah,
keep
it's
repeating
not
the
hard
same
at all,
thing.
but it's just really boring section.
Yeah, it's just annoying that you can't optimize that any further.
Out of the boring boss fights, I think this one is a little more interesting. Not as much as first one, of course, but it's okay.
Okay, so I guess you can start hitting him extremely quickly if you get into the
Yeah,
right position.
basically when he's mid-air, you can start hitting.
I see.
At least the animation of his sword can start when the boss is mid-air.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you're just crashing all three of those fireballs into him.
Yeah.
Extremely
There
precise.
actually seems to be a little timeout before they explode. You can kind of see,
Yeah, I think I've noticed
like they
that even
had.
in RTA. But oh my god, the oh god, the fireballs are still in the cutscene. It's crazy.
And they are not animated 3D.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense because
Oh, why would they? Although we just saw a glimpse of the World 4 map
yeah.
for like 10 frames.
We gained a new power to like block the prince to create a shield around the prince. But why we do that when we can just control the explosive ball themselves?
Right. Oh, didn't know about that. Plus you gain style points by moving the
Yeah.
fireball.
In some levels, you just have to style points to keep it entertaining.
Exactly. Remind me of Vin's T2T chariot ride.
Yeah.
Where did his shield go? Like, you're attacking him. His shield was there and then it wasn't. That's crazy. Oh, nice movement.
Yeah, can take away his shield like really early, and we have to do it before Zal gets into like uh, a stunned. Yes,
Right.
lots of barrier skips here.
Yeah, I guess that one looked pretty free even for RTA. It looked like
Yeah,
you're just running.
that one is definitely RTA for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And the one in 2-4 is also RTA free at the start.
I see.
And of course, the one that we already know, the 4-5 one, is free.
Right. Which I've never done actually, but yes, we know that it's possible RTA because you've done it.
Yeah.
I guess you're kind of on a cycle here, so that there isn't really much time to save.
Yep. I had to wait quite a bit of time actually here
Right.
because we have,
In RTA,
again, we
you
do
have to.
that push out thing.
Right.
Right, and you can see it a little more clearly what's happening during the toe shot here.
Right. So I guess actually, even though we're stuck in a cycle, shooting those two things at once actually does save time because you're not stuck in a
Yeah,
frozen game for as long. So that's interesting,
yeah.
even though we're
I
stuck in
guess
the
it
same.
depends on whether the platform moves when the black bursts are happening.
Right.
If it does move, then it doesn't matter, but I don't.
I was under
I
the
just did
impression
it
that the
because it
game
looks fun.
completely freezes, but I would think that that saves time, but yeah, I suppose we don't know for sure. Oh! Oh, that's an interesting strat. You can jump off the slide just at the bottom. Normally you can't
Yeah.
jump. Kind of like how in the Sans trilogy, you can't jump wherever you want to. You can only jump on a ledge. And if you try to jump like on a flat spot, you'll just roll. But at the end of that slide, he's jumping, saving some time.
Yeah. Also, funniest skip in the game.
Alright, you just run. Is that possible RTA as well? That seems like we could do that RTA.
It's tight, but I guess we can try.
Right.
I will not be surprised if we can at least get a few times. But
Oh,
it
that was clever.
might not.
I was wondering what you were doing, like not getting out of the way of the boulder, and then I was like, ah. This is crazy though, the amount
This
of
one,
uh
yeah, this one you can't actually skip the door. You are not supposed to, but I'm just saying.
right. Wait. Yeah. See, I was curious why you didn't press that button, and now I guess I have the answer to that.
Because we get in time anyway, and actually getting the cutscene here is even
Right.
less camera panning.
Right. But normally I would continue going where the boulder went. But I guess, yeah, that's a skip by going back to the right.
Yep.
He didn't even use the closest fireball just for style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I committed a sin here. I did the cancer version of this skip because it's faster.
Oh my god. I mean, that was incredible.
It's
I
a
guess,
free ceiling clip. We can do RTA to do that section much easier, but here, this is just faster.
yeah. And that ceiling clip is like as free as it can get. You just literally press a button and he clips through the ceiling.
Yeah.
So I guess you couldn't do the jump out of that slide because there was an edge coming up.
Yep.
Oh, that movement.
Fun.
What? Oh, I guess you did a TK. I didn't realize what was happening. I thought you
Yeah, it's just a
jumped up.
TK.
Like, since when can the prince jump vertically up? Oh, that movement. You just skipped an enemy there, didn't you? And like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. If you climb the thing from the other side, you can just skip the enemy.
Right.
Here we have to start holding the shield early, otherwise it's kind of bugged, and we only have 1 HP, so it's kind
Right.
of important to have the shield. It's
So
kind of bugged here.
we do actually have to use the shield for once.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know you could grab that like that.
That's just for style points.
Right. Oh, how close you are to that flame.
I think the height itself saves us there, basically.
Mm-hmm. I guess a task probably saves a few frames on the dialogue compared to RTA.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you press uh, at a specific frame, then it definitely skips it a little earlier. So for sure, every time there's a dialogue, we are saving a handful of frames compared to RTA.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy how much effort you've put into like finding all of these details, like every single bit of dialogue and every single bit of movement you've analyzed and
Actually, for the
exact
dialogues,
frames.
I found it to be pretty consistently. Like you can, I think you understand what I mean. Like there will be a pattern to it, and it will apply for every single dialogue most of the time. I'll just check if the frame earlier works, and if it doesn't, I will just do the
Right,
thing.
right. I guess for each bit of dialogue, you have to click once to speed it up, and then. Oh, sorry, sorry. I just witnessed a glitch in the universe. Um,
Yeah. By the way, there I kind of skipped half of the snap camera panning.
oh. I forgot what we were even talking about. Lots of things happened.
Yeah, we can go under. Yeah, that's what I meant by there's collision on all parts of the moving platform, like which includes the bottom of it, and we can airstrip on the bottom of it as well. It's funny.
Also, I'm surprised Zhao didn't get dizzy just there. That seems rather uncomfortable on that elevator ride up.
Oh, oh yeah.
That's
Uh, I thought you were mentioning about those corruption bug things. I was like, did
those
I
bugs.
accidentally skip it or something? But I guess yeah.
Some things you just don't program into games. Like, the prince can hang off a ledge indefinitely, whereas in real life, if you tried to do that, you would get tired after about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I guess there's nothing we can do to speed this up, and then he does that.
Yeah. We can, it's not possible to one cycle that part in RTA. In fact, we have to like recycle it or something.
Mhm. Oh, that was so
But
good. So you just reconnected with Zhao, and just as you did that before dying, you TK'd.
yeah.
That's cool. That's also cool. I was
I like
wondering.
how the health doesn't despawn at all until we finish our trip,
Right.
and it's there from when we broke it on the way forward. It's
Hmm.
still there. By the way, this is the only platform where our vertical wall run is faster than the platform, so it's faster to just
I
do
see.
that instead of taking the platform. If you try it in any normal vertical moving platform, he will just kind of snap back into it because the platform catches us before our wall runs are complete. But here we can kind of overtake it, I guess.
I guess we're about to witness the OG barrier skip,
Yeah.
which was this.
For some reason, if I try to use TK to kill enemies from the right side, it is soft locks, but from the left side, it just works like that.
He soft locks. How does that happen?
Yeah, like he kind of sinks in the ground and he just stays like that,
Oh,
and you can't do anything.
interesting. Also, was the roll thing possible here when Zhao was getting kidnapped? I didn't see.
Yeah, I just roll the.
I see. I see. Also, I'm curious how you're gonna optimize all the freezing corruption powers in the TAS. Because in the
So basically, it's kind of consistent here, and I have to spend about 16 frames, I think, for the normal corruption freezing thing, and I just have to find 16 frames in the middle of some action.
I see. Also, you just skipped a skipped Zhao going to the
Yeah,
left there. Oh yeah, ceiling clip. I guess
in
another
these
one.
levels, there is a second intended path to like go through the level so that it doesn't feel repetitive, but it's most of the time faster to try to find a skip to converge to the original path as early as possible,
Right.
which we just did here with ceiling clips.
And I guess we'll see that on a large scale in World 5 when we do the
Yeah,
replay rock glitch.
yeah, exactly.
So when you designed the tasks for this level, did you just like reuse a lot of your inputs from the previous time you were at this
Actually,
level?
since there is a lot of lag, even if I do the same level, uh, like for example, I tried to reuse the input for level 2, 3 since I had to redo 2, 2.
Hmm.
But since there is lag, it just desyncs immediately.
I
Like
see.
it syncs for a bit, and then when lag starts happening around that, it just desyncs.
So I guess
So yeah,
even if you enter the same level twice, because
yeah,
something is slightly different, the lag will be very slightly different and it's gonna desync.
yeah, basically. You can like kind of correct it wherever it desyncs. The input file for this is kind of simple, but I would rather just redo it. And for example, I found the dash thing, so it's I preferred redoing it.
Right. Um, okay, so I guess that corruption just didn't exist.
Yeah.
Um, Yep. But you're
I
doing that
just
already.
did that. No, it doesn't stay all the way till I get there. I just did
Okay.
it for fun.
I see, I see. I was like, how are you gonna get there that quickly?
Since I have time on air, I just did it.
I see. Um, um, okay. Yep. That just happened.
This is one of the cool contraptions as well. In a TAS,
Right.
it's really painful in RTA.
Yeah, it is. That's something that's not possible in RTA.
Yeah, you have to move it in one frame, and these things are kind of have like a finicky collision as well.
Yeah,
So
and in RTA they're very difficult to move around corners. Obviously, presumably
yeah,
in a TAS
exactly.
it's easy.
I mean, it's not easy in the sense
Okay.
that it's any. I just know doing the same thing will move it, and I do that thing. And it's not the same thing for like universally or something, but I can figure something out for everything. So
I
that's
see.
you can skip one of the freezing things there.
Right, yeah, we do that one in
And I
Australia.
can confirm that it's not possible in the earlier thing.
Right,
If there's a solid collision between Prince and the part where he TKs to, then it won't happen. They coded that correctly.
I see. Oh, those enemies.
We have to take damage from them to kill them optimally.
Right. So I guess there's a bit of RNG with these enemies as well, isn't there? Because you don't know where they're gonna land.
Can sort of control it by like I think it depends on Prince's position, but most of the time they seem to be fine.
Hmm.
This door here is kind of bugged, basically. If you do this and try to do it first time, see like there, it closed way too early.
Hmm.
It shouldn't happen, but I don't know why it happens. But either way, doesn't matter because we can make it. Normally, it should stay open for like 5 seconds or so.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, this sailing clip is also pretty free.
Yeah. It also skips a trigger, which triggers like some traps here. Because normally
Yeah,
there would be some saw blade or something coming at you. Which doesn't really save time as far as I know, but it's cool.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
this again. Prince, you're gonna get tired if you keep running like that.
You can get it to the moving platform during the dialogue. It saves a lot of time.
Oh, interesting. It's faster to move a bit physically rather than... Oh, okay, that's a thing.
I can also break it using explosion, but that will kind of delay like switching to the prince, so it might not save time.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks cool, so
Yeah. Style point. Oof, that switch. Oh, again, so it looks like walking is faster than TKing here. I didn't...
yeah, like by the way, that freeze corruption thing has its collision like kind of offset. If you have a chance to re-watch the video, you can later see it, and you can see that I use the stylus completely away from it.
Hmm.
It will be useful if we ever do another RTA run.
I see. That was funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we can't do the damage. It's not really a damage boost. We can't get damaged by the boss to speed up the cycle anymore because we don't have enough health.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also another door opening, which is very impressive if you've run the game. Not so much.
It's also more impressive if rest of the things doesn't exist in the task. Now it just looks like a simple thing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's interesting. So I guess you clicked on the enemy to boost and then blocked just before you got them. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was doing that RTA as well, but not as efficiently. Because here you couldn't even tell that you were blocking. Oh my lord. Oh my lord, this fight is so chaotic.
Yeah. I think this is my favorite fight.
That actually looks like a real fight. You're like, they're hitting you in real time. It's crazy. It looks like you're playing Assassin's Creed or something.
Yeah. I mean, you can just say, mention some good games like Warrior Within.
I'm not sure how many people would agree that it's a good game when it comes to the speedrun anyway. Oh my lord, this fight. Oh lord.
The fighting is good, I think, in Warrior Within.
Yeah, the point I was getting at was that people tend to start hating the game when they run it.
especially the combat. Because combat, however well designed it is, it's just annoying to deal with in a speedrun.
Right.
Makes it interesting from a routing
Yeah,
perspective.
I was about
But
to say that actually. It's very interesting to optimize it. And I know certainly in 2K8, like recently, one of my favorite things to optimize has been the fights because we discovered new strats and stuff. And I think optimizing strats can be very fun as well.
uh, 2K8, by the way, is the prequel to this game, if anyone's
Right,
wondering.
technically. Oh my god, the activating the corruption or freezing the corruption while you're wall running and jumping to it is crazy. So
Yeah,
normally you have to rub it for like half an hour to to activate it in real time.
it's actually funny. Like, all I had to do was hold a specific point in the screen and then just let it play. Because since the camera is panning, it kind of automatically
I see.
freezes it. So
That's funny.
it's really
Oh
funny.
my god, that was so close. Wait, was that shooting on purpose or was that just because you happened to hold?
Actually, sometimes if we do those actions, the first frame, like since after I'm starting to press the button and using Zal's powers, it just happens as a side effect.
I see.
He just shoots it.
Right.
I think if I wait one more frame, it doesn't happen, but it doesn't do anything, so I just
Right.
don't do that.
Where did their shields go?
They don't exist in TAS.
Must have been fun to like find available frames to do all these things though. To
Yeah.
calculate how many frames
Most
each
of the
action
time,
takes and stuff.
Most of the time, when Prince is doing his sword animation, that was actually enough to do it. So,
Mm. I guess a task is a lot more mathematical rather than skill based.
yeah. I think there is some skill to tassing as well. If someone decides to do this game in an even more optimized fashion, for example, like RNG manipulation at the end, and there's even also potential for a lag manipulation to kind of reduce the lag as much as possible and stuff.
Right.
I don't know how it works, but some people are very efficient at uh, when optimizing those kind of things.
Hmm. But even so, I guess the point I was getting at is that you don't really need to be so skilled at the game. Sure, you might need tassing skills, but it's not really TFK skills that will produce a good task for TFK. Is like
Yep.
my impression
Yeah.
anyway.
I
It's a
think the knowledge of the game is important, but not necessarily one has to be like a good speedrunner of it or something.
right.
We just have to know about the every known strategies
Mm-hmm.
and also try to find new things while doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like if a project like TAS in a game is started, it happens kind of automatically because we are like breaking the edge all the time. So
Right.
it's bound to happen automatically at some point.
Right. That makes sense.
I
Nice
think at this
bags.
point you can tell that if I'm waiting in a fight for seemingly no reason, it's probably going to be barrier skill.
Right. That was so fast. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah. I think the only thing that matters is how fast you do the freeze sync so that it unfreezes as early as possible, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one takes the cake for the most boring boss fight in the entire game.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just they gave him so much HP, and for some reason they allow us to drain half of it in one cycle. And then there are three more phases for the remaining. It's so unsatisfying in every possible way.
Yeah.
If if they're going to make it unsatisfying by making it too easy, then at least let us finish fast. I guess it's kind of like that.
And that's the end of World 4. So 5 and
Yeah.
6 left. 6 is very short, so realistically I would kind of consider like from World 5 onwards it's kind of end game. It kind of gives me like T2T tower vibes. You're like you feel like
Yeah.
you're in end game. Like Zhao's kind of gone. It's not your everyday gameplay anymore. I guess even in TAS, there's no. Oh, I was gonna say,
I mean,
even in TAS, it's possible to skip that. I mean, what?
I think at this point in the game, they want you to make you feel kind of depressed or something because the prince is all alone and stuff. So they intentionally make all the cycles just barely impossible, just so we get that unsatisfaction. I
That's an
think,
interesting idea. I think that's quite
I
clever.
think, I think that's by design. But I'm not sure. By the way, Matt, do you mind if you get spoiled for the lore? Or do you want to continue the casual playthrough at some point?
Oh, no, no, you can spoil all you want. I don't mind.
Okay, fine. Here at the start we had to wait for cycle, and again here we can actually just fall down there, but it just barely misses the platform by like 1 millimeter or something.
Oh, that looked a bit like a ceiling clip to me.
Maybe we know now that even simple jumps can cause ceiling clips,
Yeah.
which we will see one instance of at the end of this task. And so far, I tried to look for other locations. I didn't find anything major until World 2. I mean, the end of World 2.
Right. Yeah, so I
But
guess
there
like
might be some skips.
I guess once the jump animation has started, they just forgot to program that if you hit collision above us while we're jumping,
Yeah,
it stops us. They just literally forgot to program that. And that's why ceiling
yeah.
clips are possible.
I guess it's kind of like Elika clipping in 2K,
Yeah,
but
it's very similar.
works with it works with even a single jump, basically. By the way, this thing we did here kind of looks really cool, but I'm 99% sure every single casual player did this.
Yeah, yeah. For sure I did. But then again,
Because the
go on.
intended way is so unintuitive, and this just looks
Yeah.
more intuitive.
I guess if you were like super, super careful not to die, you would
Yeah,
probably not do that. But because like you're just playing casually, you're not that mindful about dying. You just think, oh, it's kind of intuitive to jump there, so you just jump without really thinking about it. And happens again here,
yeah,
doesn't it?
yep. You just kind of take a leap of faith,
Yeah.
and it just works.
And it's
And
really cool that this leads
you,
to the discovery of the long fall grab, and then we apply
yeah,
it in other places because we know from this that it's possible.
yeah. And since it's a Ubisoft game, some people might even assume that it's a feature from Assassin's Creed or something.
I guess we reconnect with Zhao now, with lots
So
of
lore
dialogue.
update here. So we find out that Zal and the Fallen King are like, oh yeah, the character set in this dialogue is kind of broken for some reason. Yeah, so here we discover that Zal and the final boss, Fallen King, is like Prince and Dark Prince. Basically, like they are alter egos of each other.
Hmm.
So Zal is actually the Fallen King.
Hmm. Interesting. It's crazy how quickly you're freezing all those photos.
Yeah.
I see, so you actually want to kill that enemy.
Yeah. Otherwise, he just keeps draining HP and it's not zero.
Right. That's clever. I mean, style points, of course. Oh, and then yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was waiting for something like that.
Whenever I see those explosive ball things, I get really happy when I do the task.
Right.
I was thinking if some cool strats will be possible where you kind of like escort them uh, through the level, and it might be helpful somewhere to finish a particular area faster. But sadly, they just despawn after you take them outside a certain radius.
I see.
And they are also on a timer, like you know, the part where they are inserted. When you take them out of it, there's like a timer, and after that, it just explodes.
Right.
Very funny thing here. Uh, so here I shooted it towards the gem and switched to Prince, and now the thing deloaded. But as we near the area, it loads and then continues its journey. It's really funny.
That's so crazy.
I don't know how they like did it in terms of programming. Like, did they store the momentum position of the
Yeah,
magic
I guess they
ball thing?
stored the velocity.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I typically do not expect something like that to happen as soon as it deloads.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. You normally wouldn't see that. That was so good. That flame.
It was not even intended. Like, it just happened.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, the death here is intentional because health management, but that's not even the important reason. Like, the main reason I did it because if I don't die, the
Ah,
rocks here spawn like really late for some reason.
I see.
And I actually checked it, and if I didn't die, even including the time it takes to die, we lose 100 frames.
Hmm.
So I don't know why that happens, but
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
it
That
it
usually,
makes the it makes routing the level comfy
right.
because we get our health back.
Hmm.
So that is definitely, now we know that it's not even comfort. It actually saves time to do it.
Right. So when you said it saves 100 frames, did you take into account the fact that we get our health back and that we save time later on, or is that?
I didn't even take that into account.
I
Like,
see.
it just normally saves 100 frames.
So realistically, it
Like,
saves
just,
a lot more than that. Like for example, in this fight, you're
yeah,
saving multiple seconds.
yeah,
Oh my god, these jumps are crazy. Like I guess there you still wanted some health back anyway.
yeah. I think there it's kind of such that it cannot physically spawn on one end, so I get it automatically.
Hmm.
I didn't even have to wait there. So
I
it's
see, I
funny.
see. But I guess you needed it for this enemy anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess now we'll see the replay rock glitch soon.
Yeah.
So basically, by going into the second level, before we go back into the first one, for whatever reason, the first level Oh, that was clever.
Yeah.
For reversing the direction.
Since we have Zal, now we can like control the direction in which those things are rotating, so we can like make it to our use.
That was so good, the fireball to kill yourself faster.
Yeah.
So right, there was a rock there blocking our way. The second time the game wants us to take a different path, so GMP kind of mentioned that maybe half an hour ago that some levels have that. And in particular, this is on a grand scale in these levels here, where there's a rock blocking our path, but if we can get back to the original path, it's much faster. And so in this particular level, we can get rid of the rock by just killing ourselves after we get to the checkpoint near the rock. And then there's another similar one in level 1, which we're about to head into now, and we can make the rock despawn literally just by completing level 2 before completing level 1. So normally there'd be in this level that we're entering now, there'd be a rock blocking our way and we'd have to take an alternative path, but it's just not there. Which we call the replay.
I think because of things like this, I am like 100% convinced that there was zero testing done for this game. Like because they need to find stuff like this at least, like before releasing the game. But I guess it wasn't their flagship title or something, so they didn't bother that much. But for being like a spin-off game, I think this game still is kind of good in certain design.
Honestly, this game has some very cool concepts. It's just a bit of a shame that the controls are extremely potato.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, working with a Nintendo DS, there's only so much you can do.
They improved it a lot in Forgotten Sands DS.
Okay.
But like there is no lag there at all, so but it's also a really smaller game, but it feels so much better, the controls there. You can like, you don't even have to like let go of input, let go of the stylus to jump. You can just kind of like drag it throughout the level and
I see.
it works like that. It's
I
much comfier than this.
FSDS for like 30 seconds, so I don't really know. Oh my god, the optimization here to get this cycle.
I mean, we're kind of limited by the cycle, but yeah, it's one cycling. These green things are like extremely difficult, but it's really easy in TAS, of course.
I've done it.
You just have to
RTA, but yeah, I mean, the RTA is basically luck, whether you get it or not.
You just have to start hitting it at the right frame when it is mid-air, so that you neither are too early and miss it, or like too late and you just miss the cycle. It's like, I think 3 or 4 frames of window where it can start.
I guess if you keep shooting him while he's already falling, you're doomed.
Yeah, for sure.
Which normally in RTA you would do, because you just spam shooting. You don't know when he's gonna fall.
Yeah.
So you very
can technically count, but nobody should go through that pain.
Yeah, I would be questioning what would be wrong with someone's mental health to go into that much pain for this game.
Yeah.
Style points. What? Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't even realize you can
Yeah.
save time there by going quickly. That's crazy.
Yep. Sometimes the game like decides it won't lag whatsoever, and it kind of looks like it's playing in fast,
Yeah.
like at the end of the level there. Like there as well.
Right, yeah, it's playing very fast now. Also interesting is using the portals faster than running here.
If you run normally, there are like traps, enemies, and stuff that spawn.
Oh,
But
I see.
since we are so early, we are basically even skipping the trigger for them to spawn.
I see.
Yeah, like this, like right here. Here it's actually faster to not even use the portal because you can kill the enemy and go faster.
Hmm.
These purple enemies, even though they have like a lot of HP, they just kind of melt when we are playing as the normal prince. But the game will ruin it for us
Yeah.
very soon.
Oh, that was so
You can
optimal.
you can skip one of the breaking here
Ah.
by like doing that.
Ah, I see.
I think this can be possible even RTA,
Hmm.
and it's not hard. I think another reason why like tasking leads to new discoveries is because when you try to even if you like deliberately try to strat hunt the game when you're just playing it in full motion is like you just kind of ignore these kind of parts because it's annoying, but when you're tasking you are kind of forced to go frame by frame, so you
Hmm.
try to think of things in every area, and that skip there like
Right.
doing only two of those things is kind of a reflection of that basically.
But on the other hand, would you say that when you're not tassing, when you're just exploring the game in real time, you're more likely to find like really big skips, like the replay rock glitch, for example? Would you say
Yeah, that's also a factor for sure. Like some glitches I think are possible to find only accidentally basically.
right?
New kind of ceiling clip here.
What? What even happened there?
Like we jumped from that edge in the wrong direction, and since there was collision above us, it just clipped us.
Oh
And
no.
then we just used the TK thing to go immediately. So it
Right, that's
happened
crazy.
really fast there. Also, like a new strat here. So here you come and you wait for a little bit. That's waiting is important, and then you can do like go all the way top. If you
Ah,
don't wait, a moving platform there will kind of block
right,
your
I saw that.
connection. But if you wait, you can just do it. It's free RTS.
Oh, nice, nice. I think with all these new strats and a bit of practice, we can probably easily get sub 3 RTA at this point.
Yeah, probably. some of the fight skips save like a lot of time and things like this as well. So yeah.
And so it's really interesting how you've optimized those TK things, and you know exactly when you can skip one and when you can't. Whereas in
Yeah.
the RTA run, I mean, I could memorize it, of course, but generally I just use all of them unless the skip is very
Yeah.
obvious. So that's the end of World 5, so just one final world left. So do you know what happens in terms of lore here? Like how they merge together?
Mm, they just go to the ancestor and she kind of says, okay, now you merge together
now
and
you're one person. So whose
yes, so
mind is it?
now I can
Alright, go on with your
so now I can
piece.
confirm that this is the fastest way to deal with these enemies instead of doing the full combo.
I see.
And
So
sometimes you have to block and sometimes you don't have to block.
hmm. So are you just doing hit, block, hit, block, hit, block? Is that what you're doing there?
Actually, for some enemies, for some reason in this level there were not many of them, but for some enemies I can just completely hit them and they won't block. I won't have to block a single time. But in general, if I am blocking, then it means that I am doing it to not lose HP, and also Dark Prince always gets staggered for a long time if that happens.
Right.
So if I don't block, he just hits me, even if I am trying to hit him. So
So basically, as far as I understand it, you use blocking in some circumstances to cancel your combo so that you can restart your combo.
no, like
No?
in this thing actually, like since our hitbox is kind of messed up, we don't actually have time to cancel our combos. So if whenever I block, it just means that if I try to continue doing the combo, like the one hit combo again and again, I will get hit by him.
Okay.
And hitting him doesn't even cancel uh, the you know his attack basically.
Right.
For some reason in this level the enemies were like way more aggressive, you can say, so I had to block a lot more, but in 6-2 it was like a lot. uh, I'm even suspecting it's a design or something, but I'm not sure. Also, like it's painful how close barrier skip is in this, but it doesn't work.
That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. I didn't have to block at all.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that he's actually trying to attack us at the fourth combo, but uh, we can do two hit combo there to just finish him off before he can hit us. So that's there as well for us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was so close.
Yeah.
These last few levels are kind of annoying because you're mostly fighting these
Yeah.
enemies, and then the platforming is kind of annoying as well.
But the fights are so annoying that the platforming actually feels like a break.
And final boss. So, tech, get ready on time. I mean, what? This one's kind of a combination of some of the other bosses we've seen.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge,
This guy is weaker than all of them. Oh yeah, for him as well, it's faster to do the single combo.
Right, right. So when you're doing the single combo, you just tap, then wait, then tap, then wait. Is that what you're doing?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So before I was confused, which is why I kept asking you about the blocking, because I thought that you interrupt the combo by blocking, and then you restart it.
No.
I didn't realize that you just stop mashing and then you start again.
For some reason, when we have the prince, the attack goes through and it damages like at the very start of the animation. But when we have the dark prince, it goes through only at the end of the animation, so it's kind of annoying.
Right. Anyway, in an RTA speedrun, this would be time.
Yep.
So, the end. I guess you're still.
I think in the task they mentioned that we need to go till the credits, and there it's time. So, time.
Right. So I guess just got the credit. How long are the credits?
It's too long, like 5 minutes or something.
Okay. Yeah, that was a really good run. I'm impressed by that. Like I can tell you've put a lot of effort into that, because that's not like a day of work. In a day you can like figure out how to do the frame advance and everything, and maybe start routing the first couple of levels, but you know, like, it's crazy how many skips and everything you found. Every area of the game you've analyzed, pretty much gone frame by frame, and considering how long this game is, that's crazy. So props to you, man.
Thanks, man.
Really good run. So certainly better than anything I'll ever do with this game.
I mean, a lot of the skips that is used in this run is you are finding as well, so there's that. So
Mostly your work though. Even in like my runs RTA, it's mostly the ceiling clip was your finding, replay rock glitch, all of those. I mean, you've spent way more time in this game than I have. Yeah, props to you. You're the king of TFK, as I'll coin you now.
but at the same time, I wouldn't even have discovered this game if you didn't randomly decide
Well,
to
actually,
do
it
it.
was Curly, so thank Curly for that. Because one day
Uh,
he was just streaming,
so
and
yeah,
he was just like, oh, what other Prince of Persia games are there that we haven't heard of? And he's like, and he googled Prince of Persia, and he's like, oh, what's the Fallen King? I was like, what is the Fallen King? I've never heard of that. And, and then he found it, and he started
I
playing
think
it.
you'd
Yeah, go on, mate.
I think you are were even more ecstatic to discover that it's related to the 2K8 universe, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, exactly. It's a sequel to 2K8. I was like, oh god, what is this
Yeah.
game? So he played it for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, dude, I want to play this as well. And then we were like, do you want to do a blind race? And I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. So I was under the impression the blind race would be like 2 hours long. I didn't realize it would be such a massive game. And then we started the race, and then like 2 hours in, Curly's like, nah mate, I'm not playing this anymore, this is awful. So he gave up, but then I was like, I'll keep going, hopefully I'll finish it in another half hour or whatever. Yeah, turns out it ended up taking me 10 hours. I finished it at like 5 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah. But then we created a speedrun.com page, and then we kind of started taking it more seriously. And then I remember doing my next run, and I was on a voice channel with Toka and some other people. I think they were also speedrunning something, and I was just narrating my run, and I was just kind of saying like, yeah, so I'm just like 5 hours ahead of my PB, just casually 5 hours ahead of PB.
You don't get to see minus 50000 in live split
Yeah, exactly.
that often.
Yeah, you don't. I mean,
Yeah,
the fact
it's
that a
this
run
game
is
is like a perfect. Yeah, this game is a perfect example of what difference having one runner and two runners can make.
true.
Since there were two of us, like both of us were like more motivated in a sense to break this game.
Yeah, I think GMP mostly broke the game, found new strats, and I was the one who actually did the runs, and
Yeah,
put them into effect. Though, I mean, honestly, I'm missing a lot of strats in. Well, anyway, I guess that's the end of that. So
yep,
I hope everyone has enjoyed, all all two people who watched this.
yeah. And also shout outs to whoever will be watching it on YouTube later.
Yeah, exactly. All two of those people as well.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a shame that it's such a an unpopular game, so this won't really get a lot of attention, even though you've put a lot of effort into it. But at least the speedrunning community, or the pop speedrunning community, will know about it. We can post it on the speedrun.com page as well.
yeah. And it can be might be published in TAS videos as well. So
Yep.
there's that. Like going through this game like frame by frame really made me appreciate some little details for sure. Like for example, there are like little animations going on in the map throughout, and like those kind of things you don't normally notice when playing the game. But whoever made this game definitely has put some effort, just not any effort in polishing it, basically.
Right.
And I finally managed to read through the lore as well because I was kind of forced to frame advancing, and I think I'll like it. It's kind of like it works as a standalone game as well, and it also works as a like a part of the 2K universe as well.
Right.
because there are like no implications for a potential third game which might have come out after this, and it's just a side mission kind of thing
Mhm.
basically. And at the end, the prince just has freed the kingdom and he's on his way again where he left at the end of epilogue. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, man. It was fun.
Maybe,
It was fun. Um, watching
thanks
this
a
with
lot
you.
for doing this commentary with me.
Yeah, though it was good fun. Honestly, I enjoyed like reacting to all the new things, all the
Yeah,
crazy stuff, especially like in World 3. I just completely lost my mind in
yeah,
World 3 when you were just running and everything was flying around you. It was so crazy.
yeah. That's my favorite part as well.